In this presentation, we will be talking about child safety. Remember to secure back any large furniture, like TVs, couches, dressers, or shelves, to prevent them from falling on any children.
When cooking with children around, make sure your oven is locked while cooking. And whenever cooking on the stove, make sure your pot and pan's handle is backwards so children can't reach and pull on them. Whenever your stove is hot, always make sure your children are aware that there's a hot surface so they do not burn their fingers. Never leave a hot drink or dish on the edge of a table for children to reach up and spill. Remember to never carry a hot drink or food while carrying your baby. Always remember to read your owner's manual before using your oven to ensure where the anti-tip bracket information is on your oven. Because whenever using your oven, a kid could be able to flip the oven, or just anyone, and the oven would tip over on them. So you need to read the information on the oven to figure out how to secure your oven to the floor.
To prevent any staircase injuries, put a child safety gate at the top and bottom to prevent any children from falling down the steps.
No.
Any unused electrical outlets must have one of these protectors over it to prevent any electrical shocks from occurring.
Cords that are plugged into the wall, make sure kids never mess with them because there could be like a loose wire that they could shock themselves, or they would be able to bite them and get electrocuted. Also, for lamps, make sure kids never reach up into it and grab the light bulb.
Wow, down there.
Knock it off, you guys need to get away from the window.
Why?
The screen's open. There's two main things wrong in that scenario. These would make them be able to choke themselves, and without a screen, the children would be able to fall out the window and get an injury. So always have a screen in your window. These are some tips on kids falling.
Each year in the United States, 2.8 million children head to the emergency room for injuries relating to falls. Under the circumstances of falling, if a baby that is 1.5 feet tall falls from a 3.5 tall changing table, it's roughly equivalent to an adult falling from a 10-foot high surface. Babies have weak necks that cannot support their heavy heads, so that means whenever a baby falls, always check for signs of a concussion.
More than 80% of injuries in children involved cribs. More than 2/3 of the injuries reported were from kids falling out of the cribs. About 15% of the injuries were from inside the crib of falling and hitting their head, or 6% of being wedged inside of the crib. There's no maximum weight limit for a cradle. You should stop putting your child in a cradle when they are able to pull themselves up, get onto their hands and knees, or roll over.
Now that was a definite don't.
Never leave your car unsupervised with the keys in the ignition. Better take these.
A ball there? Yeah.
What's going on?
Any cupboards that contain anything that's harmful or toxic to children should always have a child safety lock on them that the children cannot break. In case any chemicals like these are consumed, which should be kept in high locked places away from children's reach, you should have the chemical control number, which is 800-222-1222.
No.
Never leave sharp objects like knives or screwdrivers in a place where a child could reach them and play with them. Always put them in a secure lockbox.
Never leave your child unoccupied in the bathtub. A child can drown with under 2 inches of water. On average in the U.S., 10 deaths occur per day because of drowning. When filling the tub, only fill it 2 to 3 inches or to where it covers their legs. Before putting the children in the bath, always check the temperature of the water by using a thermometer from 98 degrees to 100 degrees Fahrenheit or with the wrist test. From newborn to toddler, never leave them unsupervised in a bathtub, even for a second.
Alright. The phone can wait.
Please.
What's this?
When giving children food, make sure the food is cut up in small pieces, about a dime size, that cannot be choked on.
Printer, low. Mine, plum. You're the third one this week. Now during HP Savings Month at St.
For a home safety tip, always keep your doors locked because you never know if the children are going to try and escape. Keep any small objects in the house like coins, screws, and bolts out of the reach of children for choking reasons. The leading cause of injury and death among children is from choking on food and small items.
You always need to watch what children are carrying, especially plastic material, because they can choke and suffocate on it. They are curious by the material and want to explore the unknown.
On most plastic bags, it'll have a warning sign that says, "To avoid the danger of suffocation, keep these bags out of the reach of babies and children. Do not use them in children's bed, prams, or playpens."
One time when my son was about 6 or 8 months old, he was crawling around and came across a thumbtack and swallowed it, but he was lucky enough not to get any injuries from it, and he had passed it through his stool.
All children have been involved in a harmful incident in their lifetime. For example, I put a bead down my ear when I was about 6 years old and had to go to the hospital.
One time whenever I was younger, I threw a Winnie the Pooh doll that had a voice box in it up at the fan, came back, hit me in the head and knocked me out.
One time my mom closed my head in a car door because she wasn't paying attention while I was getting my doll out of the back seat while she was cleaning the car. I got this scar right here.
You should always pay attention to your children. They're always one step ahead of you no matter what you are thinking.
They could die just because you weren't paying attention.
But accidents do happen.
It's raining, guys. It's raining.
Get back in the house.
I don't wanna.
You cannot play out in the rain. You can get shocked by lightning or get pneumonia.
I don't care.
When out in the sun, always spray your kids with sunscreen.